Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, episode number 209. And coming up on this one, the Leafs have lost 4 in a row going into the playoffs. So what the fuck? Bring on the Bruins. Auston Matthews, he doesn't get 70, but he gets 69. And as a man who's only had a few 69s in my day, I can say that is incredible. All this and more coming up in episode 209 of the Tip In podcast.
Hate to say we told you so, guys, but let's be serious here, Chad. We have been calling for quite some time as we saw Auston inching a little closer to 70. We're kind of called our shot here. We said 69, that's perfect. No more, no less. That's right where you want to be, and that is exactly what happened. But some big time concerns for me heading into the playoffs. Let's hit the intro.
Kamara's coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round! Do you believe this? Holy mackerel!
Well, welcome to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
And here we go. The season is over. Matthews is stuck at 69 forever. That's the number it will be in the record books. And the Boston Bruins are our first round opponent. That's a lot going on.
Yeah, well, of course, for sure. So, yeah, man, we might as well just Auston off the top, right? Like, so he doesn't get it. I mean, last night in Florida, tonight in Tampa Bay, not going to go nuts on the games, but he obviously had plenty of opportunities to get it.
He did. Just wasn't in the cards.
Couldn't happen. And just right at the end of this one, when there was still a little bit of hope left, I'm not even talking about the Tavares goal, but as their power play coming with like 5 minutes left, what does TJ Brody decide to do? Just let it rip from the point. Scores for the first time in like 130 fucking games or something ridiculous. And they could have gone to the power play there and gotten Auston the chance. But anyway, just when it rains, it pours for TJ Brody, because you know Austin's looking at him being like, really, man?
Like now you're going to score?
Yeah, like
now.
130 games, I'm one away from 70, but you're not even going to give me a chance on the power play here. And like, I'm sure Brody didn't think that puck was going to go in the fucking net, obviously.
No. He hasn't scored in forever.
No, I know.
No way he thought that.
No. But look, so he doesn't get to 70, but 69, which we love, like you said, it'll be in the record books forever. 51 of those 69 goals, even strength goals. That's got to be the most impressive thing about it. Like 51 even strength goals out of the 69 goals. But I mean, I don't know, what can you really say about this guy? Like, is that the career high for him, or could you see him being like, no, I'm gonna do 70 one of these next couple seasons?
I'm sure that's in his mind.
Yeah.
There's no way that this guy is walking away being like, well, that's the peak of my career.
No,
He's the type of player where now he has a goal for next year.
Yeah,
Get to 70.
Yeah, like, I mean, honestly, it is a little heartbreaking to be like, you're right there. You're right there, right? Like, it's
one
not,
goal away, 2 games to play.
like, it's not 60. He didn't end up with 66 or 67. Like, he was right there.
Yeah.
So that it's disappointing for sure. Like, it is disappointing, but
at the same time, it's incredible.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, we've said it so many times on this podcast, but to have a Toronto Maple Leaf player that is that elite at goal scoring is ridiculous.
Haven't seen it in
69.
69. Haven't seen, no one's popped 69 in the back of the net since Mario, I think, in 92, 93 or something crazy like that. So we're talking 30 years here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Incredible season by him. Like, just absolutely incredible, really. And I'll just tell you one thing too. Like, this, just one thing sticks out in my mind. Okay. I know specifically one goal where he got called back. Remember that Bertuzzi offside goal? I forget who they were playing, but Bertuzzi was at the far side. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like, I forget who they were playing that game, but it was an absolute sick goal down front. So do away with that bullshit and He does put 70 in the back of the net, but anyway.
Or one of the 25 posts that he hit this year.
Oh,
goes
80,
in.
you're looking at 80 goals, 75, 80 for fucking fun. Yeah, think about how many. That's another thing too. Like he literally hit 20 plus posts.
I think
season.
he led the NHL in posts and crossbars.
That's crazy, man. So even when he's not putting it in, he's still sniffing right around it, which is
even
great
tonight. He had that
tonight.
great play where he bounced off the guy and recovered the puck and sniped it off the crossbar.
Yeah.
So he had his chances in Florida. He had his chances in Tampa tonight. He had his chances.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in the cards.
No.
It sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Anyway, so anything else on Matthews or just, hey, what can you say, man? Incredible. And hopefully we'll see you in the playoffs.
Hopefully he breaks the Leaf record for most goals in the playoffs.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? So anyway, 69, we love that. That's right where it stands. That's absolute perfect. Kind of what we called our shot. Let's be serious here. Like, I don't think any other podcasts out there were calling their shot on that one. Well, we were calling it for quite a while. A while.
It's funny. I've been listening to like podcasts and radio shows and stuff, and all of a sudden they're all coming out with these 69 jokes about Auston Matthews hitting 69 and, oh, that's a sweet number. Ha ha ha. And they laugh. And I'm like, you guys, we've been talking about this since November. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Before the calendar even flipped to the new year, we had this puppy pegged to a T. So
we were talking 69 long before anybody else was talking 69.
Yes, we were. So I love that. And anyway, man. Okay, so we'll go. Congratulations to Auston Matthews, whatever. Still obviously incredible. So hopefully he can, like you said, just go on a tear in the playoffs because we are going to need it. But lost 4 in a row, like you said off the top, going into the playoffs. I do not love that. And they pretty much got the fucking blowers going off, the doors blowing off in Florida in the second period. Like, what the fuck was that, man? They give up 31 shots in the second period. Wall lets in a 4 spot in the second period, but 31 shots in the second period alone after what was a pretty good first period in Florida. And then tonight,
the shots were 29-4.
Okay. Well, still 30. Okay, 30
but
shots,
I mean,
whatever.
The shot attempts were probably through the roof. Like they probably threw 50 pucks at the net and 29 made it to the net.
Like when Florida put the pedal down, it was like one of these teams gearing up for the playoffs, wanting to win the division, and the other one's just kind of floating around out there looking lost. And I saw a lot of that again tonight. I know they caught up tonight, and the score was so 5-2 loss to Florida, 6-4 loss to Tampa. That score is flattering, I think. Like, I didn't think the game was that close. Tampa controlled. Like, Tampa played like, well, we're getting ready for the playoffs here, and the Leafs, I just didn't see that.
Did you not kind of feel like the last couple games the Leafs have been off trying to get Matthews 70?
I know, but like, how about like, I know they're meaningless games, and you don't want to get injured and all that, but like, do you not want to amp up the energy level a little bit going into fucking game 1? Like,
well, I thought, did you not think in the first period against Florida?
Yes,
that I was like, okay, they look good.
And the 6 periods since, or the 5 periods since,
have been bad.
Terrible.
Well, as soon as Florida came out and started playing the way that the Cougars can, that was it. Like, Toronto was like, a part of me watching that was kind of glad that they got the Bruins, because I was like, Jesus, I don't want any part of this in the first round.
Like for sure,
29-4 getting outshot in the second period.
No, for sure.
You don't want that shit.
No, and we'll get into Boston in a second here, but I just want to say, like, do you think this is like, I don't want to blow anything out of proportion here. I don't want to whatever. I'm just kind of my feeling and just the vibe I'm getting and just watching the games and all that. Like, does it look kind of like they're going into the playoffs like a wounded animal to you, or you think that's a stretch? Like, they haven't played well. They lost.
They haven't played well, and they don't look good. But
can't get a save.
If
no matter who's in net.
If we were doing a Bruins podcast, would we be saying the same thing?
I think so.
So we, because they lost, like they basically got shelled by Washington and Ottawa.
No,
at least the Leafs lost to some good teams.
Like, I hear you, but like I was saying, like, meaningless games down the stretch here, sure. Like the last 2 specifically, because it really wasn't, they were still fighting for positioning depending on what was going on a week ago.
Yeah, Tuesday they could have picked their opponent. They beat Florida. They know they're going to play Florida.
Sure. So, like, meaningless games or not, the last couple games, whatever, in Florida. But, like, just, again, to reiterate, like, playing hard and trying to get ready for the playoffs, Absolutely not. I didn't see
No,
it.
they're not doing that.
I saw two teams do that these last two games, and the one team, the white team, no, not interested. Like, no, thanks. We'll get ready on Saturday night. We'll be ready. Okay, well, all right, and they might be, but
they're in playoff form.
It just they're in perfect playoff form because
Yeah, I don't think I would read too much into it.
But why was Florida so interested in winning the division and playing hard? Why was Tampa meaningless game tonight? Tampa outworked them all night long.
I don't know why. I can't answer. Florida, I thought was flat in the first and then turned it on, and the Leafs had no answer for it. And tonight, I think everyone was just trying to get the game over with without getting injured, and everything was get the puck to Auston. But they weren't thinking about anything.
I know, Chad, but the playoffs I understand that, but I feel like you could do both. Yes, do that, get the puck to Auston, but play hard in the process. You got to up your intensity. Like, it looked to me like Tampa was like, we got Florida on the weekend. We better fucking play hard here. To me, there's no excuse to I know it's a meaningless game, but you're amping up for the playoffs. You need to you got a pretty big juggernaut waiting for you down the road in Boston there.
Yeah.
You can't go in with this or you're fucking dead. You're going to get swept 4 straight. If this is their game plan, forget about it.
No, it's not their game plan. And it's not their game plan. And
I
get what you're saying. It looked bad and they look like dog shit going into the playoffs. I get that. Yeah. But at the same time, go back and look at playoffs before, and I bet you'll find teams who walked into the playoffs like this and went on runs. I don't think it really matters. I think when the puck drops on game 1 of the playoffs, everything changes. Everything changes.
No,
Boston went in last year, hadn't lost fucking more than 2 games in a row all season, record breaking. They lose 4 straight after having a 3-0 lead.
Maybe it'll be the opposite this year.
But anything can happen. So what I'm saying is Boston didn't look good going in. Toronto doesn't look good going in.
I know. Something's got to go.
Something's got to give. We'll see game 1. And 3 games in, you'll be like, oh, you won't even talk about these 2 games.
No, I know that. So, maybe. We'll see how the goaltending shakes out. I'm going to touch on the goaltending.
Different.
I'm going to touch on the goaltending in a second here. But, so what do you think? So, Boston loses to Ottawa. So that surprised the hell out of me. I thought there's no way. I thought the result of the Leafs game would not matter because I thought Boston was going to fucking win, but they lost and Florida wins and away we go. We're going to Boston on Saturday.
Do you believe in the conspiracy that they lost on purpose?
I was talking about it last podcast. I remember me talking about it at the end. I was talking about, I wonder if Boston, because they lost their last 2 games going in.
They lost not in Boston style. No shots on net, tons of penalties. Weird.
I do believe it, of course, man. If you're a fucking Bruins player,
there's no part of me that thinks that they didn't secretly in the back of their head. I'm sure they went out and they were trying. They're professionals, but I know in the back of their head they're like, well, if we lose, we get the Leafs.
Wait, who they've done nothing but own.
Yeah, playoffs and regular season.
Why the fuck would you choose Tampa? Yeah, we go out and beat Ottawa tonight, we're gonna get the Lightning. But if we lose, the Leafs are coming in.
They probably went into the dressing room at intermission, saw the second period on in the Leaf game, and they're like, all right, Florida's going to win the division. Let's blow this. Let's get Toronto.
It wouldn't surprise me. Now, so what do you think? What do you think of the matchup? Are you glad it's Boston instead of Florida? Because it looks that way right now.
I'll tell you this. I've been thinking about this all day. Because after seeing that Florida, I said that. After watching that second period against Florida, I was like, Jesus, dude. I don't want any part of this. On paper, Toronto looks like probably they have a slight edge over Boston. But I don't think it matters who the Leafs play. I think it matters about the Leafs.
Yeah, of course.
Because they were heavily favored against Montreal, and they got beat. They lose all the time when it comes to the playoffs. So it doesn't really matter. Boston's a really good team. Florida's a really good team. It doesn't matter. What matters to me is this Leafs team. Are they ready to win?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I agree. It doesn't matter who you play. Look, you go out, not all this, all the series are the first round series are set in the East, but not all in the West. But if you go through them, there's no easy out. Would I rather be playing Washington or the Islanders? Well, yeah, of course. But there's no easy out. Edmonton's going to end up playing probably Vegas in the first round, and good luck there. Who would you rather have, the Bruins or Vegas in the fucking first round?
Yeah,
the Bruins. Winnipeg gets Colorado, or vice versa. Colorado gets Winnipeg. one of those incredible teams are going to be fucking gone right away. So it is what it is. But they were, I was looking today. We were talking about like 1 versus 8 compared to the format they do it right now. The East would, if it was 1 versus 8, it would have been exactly the same. Yeah. So
1v8, everyone would get the same matchups.
That's interesting.
Well, it only worked out that way because the Carolina was ahead of Florida.
So who won the Metro? The Rangers? Yeah, they did. I don't think Carolina. It's done, right? The Rangers are playing Washington. Carolina's playing the Islanders. That's what it is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the Rangers are the President's Trophy winners.
Yep.
But because Carolina was ahead and the Metro was so soft, it kind of all evened out. The 1v8 kind of all worked out that way. But if it had have gone a different way, you would have had a few different matchups, but not many. So yeah, everyone complaining about we complain about it too, the wild card. I don't like it just because you play the same fucking teams every year. It'd be nice to once in a while throw in a Carolina or something like that, but it's always Boston or Tampa or Florida.
I think this is just to get off topic here briefly for a second. We'll get back to the Leafs in 2 seconds here, but I've been hearing a lot of talk lately the last couple of days too about how like the NBA is doing like play-in games to get the final 2 spots at the wild card in baseball. Those games are very exciting. Like
the Blue Jays have played in a couple.
It's super well. It used to be a one-off, but they've made the wild card a 2 out of 3 now. But in the NBA, same deal. They were doing like one-off like wild cards last night and tonight. Like I think that the NHL needs to get on board with that, man. Think about how exciting that would be.
Instead of placing, so like you lock up your division, right? Yeah. So like the top 3 teams in each division, but then those last 2 spots, you take the 4 teams, and you're like, all right, we're going to play off.
Yeah, I think that's for sure, 100%. Yeah, I would have it be 7 versus whatever.
Yeah,
like not
because
7.
then you're fighting just to be in the playoff series.
Like 7 like the final 4 teams that are like the 2 wild card teams that would get it, and then the final 2 teams that would finish right below them. So 7 play 10.
The four teams outside of the playoffs.
7 play 10, 8 play 9 in a one-off, and whoever wins those 1 games fucking gets in. It would just be more like, is it fair to the teams that actually got the wild card? Well, like I guess not, but it would just make it more exciting to have like, here's a couple meaningful games just before the playoffs start. I don't know. I think the NHL needs to fucking really consider that. And they're going to be.
Well, you know what though? It would give the wild card. It would give the wild card more excitement to it. Because now all the wild card is okay. The next two teams with the highest points get in. So now wild card, like the definition of wild card is like it's a wild card. You don't know who it's going to be.
That's right. You could have that 10th. You could have that 10th seed. So you're going to have like
steal a wild card.
It's a 32 team league, and that's going to expand to probably 34 within the next couple of years. Within the next 5 years, there'll be 34 teams for sure.
I'd be okay with that.
No doubt in my mind. So then that gives 10 teams from each conference a chance to get in. So if you're sniffing around 10, you could still fucking get in and go on a run. I think that they need to adopt that. I think they're stupid.
Yeah, it would be crazy in hockey. Like I know in basketball and baseball, a lot of the times the teams that win the wild card don't really do anything. Sometimes in baseball, they go on runs. In basketball, it doesn't really happen. They usually get shelled in the first round. But in hockey, you're right. That 10th seed could have had some injuries or something in the start of the season. They get that wild card spot, and they've upset the first round and move on. It could totally happen in the NHL. That'd be awesome. I'm game for that. Let's write a letter to Jerry.
Yeah, well, I don't know, Jerry. I think Jerry needs to get the fuck out of there. Once Daly takes over, maybe we can get some of these things cooking. But anyway, so back to Boston. Like,
yeah, man.
I don't know. What do you think overall here? Like, just what are your overall thoughts? Like, we're in agreement. We're both glad it's the Bruins and not the Panthers, at least to start.
Yeah, I don't think the Leafs are playing. Like I said, it doesn't matter if they're playing the Bruins. The Leafs are playing against themselves. That's right. Who they're playing against. They're playing against their playoff ghosts.
But it still is
all the pressure on them.
But it is a better matchup, though. It just is
on paper.
Well, it's just like Boston's
this season they got completely shelled by Boston.
They can beat Boston. They might not.
They haven't once this year.
They might not, but they can. They can if they bring their A game and they play the way that they can play, I believe they can beat Boston. Even with their A game, I'm not sure they can beat the Florida Panthers.
This year in the regular season against the Bruins,
Yeah, I know.
they're 0-4.
I know.
Their power play was atrocious. Their penalty kill atrocious just against the Bruins. Goalies were bad. Like nothing. I know on paper they have the slight edge, but nothing really points to they're going to win this series.
No. It's just like you're going to have to it's going to be a gut feel. And like right now I'm on the fence. Like I kind of think it is a coin flip. I've thought that way every time they've played Boston. So, I'm not sure I can handle another Game 7 in TD Garden. I'll tell you that.
It's coming.
Probably, but maybe not. Maybe not, man. Maybe this one doesn't go 7 games. Like I could see the Leafs getting pumped here, but I could see the Leafs beating them in 6 games. So like I'm just not sure. There's so many different variables. Like I'll go over. I want to touch on the goal. I don't want to go too long here, but I do want to touch on. And look, guys, we'll be back with a full playoff preview / prediction show on Friday night. Once everything is all set, all the matchups in the West have not been set yet. Chad and I are going to kind of do a bracket, fill out like who we think is going to win in the first round, second round, pick a cup winner, the whole 9 yards. And we'll also throw in a little added bonus of who we each think should be in the Leafs lineup to start Game 1 in Boston on Saturday night. Yeah, but the goaltending, man, like this has to be the biggest concern without a fucking doubt. None of these guys can stop a puck right now, not one. Like there's goals going in on everybody. Like per Jonesy, he hasn't played in 2 fucking months. He comes in tonight and just forget about it, not even close. Looked like the guy forgot how to fucking play net.
Yeah.
Wall. Just I don't know what happened. Like I don't pin the loss in Florida on Wall, but he could have there's saves you got to make there.
Oh my god! Well, could you imagine Wall after that second period? Remember in the movie Slapshot when the goalie has like a seizure coming into the dressing room? That was probably Wall coming in after the second period last night. Like facing that many fucking shots in 20 minutes.
It's crazy.
I don't put that loss on Wall.
No, but there's goals there that shouldn't have went in, right?
Yeah, and same with Samsonov, right?
Samsonov, his last 2 starts, Detroit, New Jersey, looks like he fucking forgot how to play. So how can you be confident going into Game 1, which it's going to clearly be Samsonov? It has to be. They have no choice other than if Superman Matt Murray throws his fucking cape on and comes out of nowhere, which they're clearly not doing that for Game 1. It's going to be Sammy. That's just what it's going to be to start. I don't feel good about any of these guys. I don't feel good about any of them.
No, it's probably the biggest concern going into the playoffs. Like I know there's question marks up front. There's huge question marks on the back end.
Oh god!
But the goaltending is the biggest question mark. What the hell are you gonna do if you can't stop a puck?
That's just, none of the defense and what they do up front. It won't matter if you're down 3-0 10 minutes in. It won't fucking matter. Yeah. So,
if you can't get a save,
no,
you're fine.
And I'm not.
No team has ever won the Stanley Cup with mediocre goaltending.
Oh my god, dude, my eyes are going to be glued to number 35 on Saturday night. Like, what's he got? What's he got? Is he mentally fucked again, or is he going to be able to play? Because I'm sitting here right now on Wednesday night, and I don't have the answer to that.
You know what it's going to be? It'll be, does he make a save or let in a goal first? If he makes a big save, I bet he settles in and everything's okay. If something squeaks by him in the first 5 minutes, it could be a pretty quick series.
What's your gut? What's your gut tell you on the goaltending?
I don't know because
it is hard to call.
It's hard to call, but playoffs, like I said, it's something just different about it. Like you can get to Game 1 and all of a sudden guys who sucked all year are great. And I heard a lot of guys being interviewed in the past week, old NHL players, everybody's doing the rounds, getting the calls. And they all say the same thing, that the playoffs is like a breath of fresh air because everything gets wiped to zero and you get to start fresh.
Yeah.
And maybe Samsonov is like, all right, everything that happened in the regular season, I'm at 0 wins, 0 goals against average. I get to start fresh. Let's do this.
I hope so.
But at the same time, like I said, a squeaker could go in and his mental toughness is not that tough.
So do you think, no, it's not. No, it's not at all. So do you think the leash is potentially gotten a little bit longer on Samsonov because now Keefe doesn't trust Wall either? Like he doesn't, I don't think Sheldon trusts any of them right now. So do
No.
you think there's a little bit
But
more
I think
leash?
I think like Samsonov has been given, like, I don't think Wall was given a fair shake.
No, I agree.
Like, I think he needed a little more time to get back, because before his injury, he looked really good. And then since he's come back, he's kind of just played fiddle to whenever it was a back-to-back, or if Samsonov was faltering a little bit.
Yeah.
So Samsonov's going to be the starter for game 1.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I don't think anything will change unless he's really bad.
He might be pulled by the fucking second period.
Maybe, yeah.
Worst case scenario. I mean,
That
what are
is
you
the
gonna
worst
do?
case scenario.
He lets in 4 on 10 shots. Guess what? Joseph Wall starts the second period like 100%. You can't keep rolling with that. You can't keep rolling with that shit.
But at least you have a backup. Like, I know Wall hasn't played great, but at least you have a backup where you could roll the dice on him and he could take you somewhere.
Right.
Like, at least it's not like a fucking backup,
no.
At least you don't have like Curtis McElhinney. Like, I loved Curtis McElhinney, but he's not gonna win you 3 playoff rounds.
No. And if he comes in and he lets in a 4 spot and they get the fucking house blown over,
Well, then
8-0,
Marty Jones is coming in.
then you got to seriously consider, like, I don't know if I can, maybe I go back to Samsonov for game 2, but if it happens again, then that's probably it. You gotta go to Murdoch, man. I'm telling you right now. You say, Matt Murray, put your Superman cape on from 2016-17 and get in here and
you're
fucking
gonna
help us
live
out.
or die with this fucking Matt Murray.
Well, depending on how it shakes out with the other 2 guys /3, like I don't after tonight. Like I was thinking, okay, maybe Jonesy can come in and get it done. Well, I don't think that anymore. So,
You think if Matt Murray had played tonight, he would have not let in 6?
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
He's the only one we haven't seen. So no, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But
yeah,
I mean,
let's give Samsonov a chance.
Yeah,
and see what happens in game 1.
Yeah, but it like that's going to make or break it. Like if he does not bring his A game or B+ at best, they're dead. They won't win the series.
I think a more likely scenario that will happen is that Samsonov is fine. Like maybe he's not playing out of his mind,
but good enough.
He's good enough. And what's going to happen is the mental breakdown and toughness between the guys who have done this before is going to blow a gasket again and lose. Like they're going up against the Boston Bruins. They're going to be in Boston Gardens. The fucking buildings is super loud.
Oh yeah. Pasternak's going to be popping goals in left and right.
Pasternak loves to play the Leafs. Marchand loves to play the Leafs. Are Matthews, Marner, Nylander, are these guys going to show up? Are they going to show up? Like, we can put all the blame on Samsonov, but what if Samsonov actually gives you good goaltending, but the other guys just don't show up?
I hate to say it, but it's very likely because that's all we've ever seen. Yeah.
So is that not more? That's probably the more likely scenario than the goaltending lets you down.
It is absolutely time for that to change. I think that's the perfect way to end this one here, Chad. Just because that you're 100%, like, obviously a big time concern in net, but a huge concern again. Will these? I was going to call them kids. They are still kind of kids.
No, they're not kids, man.
They're growing up. Mid-20s, whatever, late 20s. Like, are these guys finally, like the guys you just said, Marner, Matthews, Nylander specifically, like, are they ready? Are they finally ready to be like, it's our fucking time now? We are not, like, to have the Tkachuk or Tkachuk mentality, to have the McKinnon mentality of like, just we're not losing.
We're gonna win.
We're not losing. Period. Like we're not losing. So
yeah, are they gonna have? Because Boston is gonna play, and I'll just say this before we go. Florida plays like Florida skates. Florida plays fast. They play in your face. They're a dirty team.
Yep.
They're a grindy team.
Yep.
Boston will not play that way. You're not going to get into a run and gun high tempo game. They are going to clog the neutral zone. They're going to grind you down.
Sure.
They're going to get in your face. Do you have the toughness to still score goals when there's no fucking ice out there? Will you have that? Because you haven't the past few years. So let's see.
We are going to find out on Saturday night. Cannot wait. Wait.
Friday night, we're going to do a podcast. It'll be uploaded Friday night, so you can listen to it Saturday.
Yeah.
before the game, and it's
we'll
just
we'll have it up around like 8:00 on Friday night, something like that.
So check it out, listen to it Saturday. It'll get you all pumped up for the playoffs, and then we'll be back after every playoff game. Whether we do it after the game or the day after, there will be a podcast in between every playoff game. So for the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, don't forget to follow us on social media at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Tip In Podcast on TikTok, Tip In Pod on Twitter. Email us tipinpodcast@gmail.com, or you can just message us on Instagram and Facebook, because we get those too. And until Friday's playoff preview and the Leafs versus Bruins round 5, that's right. They've played 4 times, right, in the last 10 years. Like going back to the game we never want to talk about, 2013.
Yeah, I think this will be the 4th time.
Oh, this is the 4th time. All right,
they played them 2 years in a row. A couple after the Washington series, they played them, and then they played them again the year right after that. But I think, but they haven't played them since then, I don't think.
Okay, so this is round 4. All right. Anyway, I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
And we will.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please like this video on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really helps us out, and we would really appreciate it. And we will be back for a playoff preview prediction show on Friday night. So please join us for that. We'll give you our predictions on every series and predict a cup winner, the whole deal. Oh, man. Saturday night. Can't wait. Go Leafs, go. Holy smokes. Leave your thoughts down below, guys. Would like to know what you think. Leafs going to do this or not? What's it going to be? What's it going to be?
They're going to do it.
We'll catch you guys later. Catch you later.
Catch you.